Hello, welcome to Insert Coin, I'm Whiterz, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. It's a semi-scripted look at League of Legends, one of the Dota games that have been around for a while now. So, let's get to it. League of Legends, developed by Riot Games, is an action real-time strategy. It pits your hero against wave after wave of enemy creeps, and your wit against up to 5 other players in sort of a tactical, frantic, really quite satisfying PvP game. In the words of Riot, they describe the game as an MOBA, that's Multiplayer Online Battle Arena. The acronym ARTS, though, standing for Action RTS, was around first. That's sort of where League of Legends decides it wants to set itself from the crowd a little bit. It's come with MOBA. I'm not sure I like that, but we'll see. I think the terms are quite interchangeable within the community. It's hard to see any real fundamental differences between League of Legends and games such as Dota or even Heroes of Newerth, because they are just carbon copies of each other with a few minor differences thrown in. But anyway, League of Legends is a Dota clone, as I've just said, but if you're interested in Dota, that's if you want to see where it all began, before things like Demigod and Heroes of Newerth and League of Legends came about, whatever, go to playdota.com, that's playdota.com, and give it a shot. So like I say, today we're doing League of Legends, so I'll get on with it. So now on to the mechanics. The main game, consists of 2 teams, 5 players each. Each player controls a hero, such as, if you ever played Warcraft 3, that's where it'll start anyway. If you had hero characters in that, well, it's like that. You've got heroes with special abilities, and basically you control this unit, and your job's to guide it and your team, don't forget your team, it's quite important, to some kind of a victory. This is done by controlling 3 lanes of creeps. Creeps are AI controlled mobs that follow a preset path down in each lane, and they attack other enemy creeps on the way, which are coming, towards you, and also attack players and structures such as towers. Little fuckers, because they are little fuckers, spawn in waves every so many seconds. They're all eager to march to their bloody ends. Alright, you need to get that straight. They're not very smart. They always explode. They get crushed in horrible ways, and it's quite entertaining. In a round, it's your job to keep this sort of mobile cannon fodder alive, and occasionally probably scrape one of the opposing teams off your foot, because that's always fun. With there being about 5 players in each team, and 3 lanes to choose from, the standard tactic is to have a solo player take on the centre lane, and the remaining 4 players, depending on their classes, who's a support role maybe, or who's a good damager, they'll generally split into 2 groups of 2 and take the top and bottom lanes respectively. In the early game, it's wise to concentrate on last hitting enemy creeps in order to get the gold bonus from them, while not getting too overconfident and waltzing into a wall of sodomy. If your character is suitable, you can take to the jungle. The jungle's the space in between the lanes. It's all like water and twisty turns and tall grass to hide in. But in the jungle there's neutral creeps. Now neutral creeps are stationary mobs, like camps of them, but sometimes offer buffs when slain. The term for a character who can do this well is a jungler. The heroes with better than average soloing ability, and often with a really good gank as well. They patrol corridors of vines looking for fresh meat, and are ready to be able to teabag you at any instant. Map control and awareness are key in this game, so roaming characters such as junglers and support characters, those that buff, disable and heal, often drop sight wards. The sight wards are invisible totems that you place down. They grant sights around the area they are dropped, but only last generally a few minutes. They're really, really useful in providing information on enemy movements. As they say in the Kingdom of the Blind, the one-eyed man is king, and in the Kingdom of LoL, that's League of Legends, the 5-man gank squad that saw you run through the water will make you their queen, but probably their bitch. Mostly bitch. Dead bitch with sugar on top. Being a PvP game, the main scope is to decimate the enemy heroes, while doing all you can to avoid getting bum rushed and taken down yourself. Each player kill you make grants you and your team sort of a small amount of bonus gold, more if you actually made the kill. And as well as putting the enemy player out of action for however many seconds it takes them to respawn. Staying alive becomes more and more important as time progresses because the respawn timer increases as you level. So a low level player might respawn in less than 20 seconds, whereas a level 18, which is the max level, can easily take over a minute to spawn. I'm not entirely sure of the exact numbers, I haven't checked, just knowing that I've spent many a time dead and watching the enemy smash down one of my towers and sort of pick my nose in nervous tension while it happens. As you earn money and levels, you'll spend skill points in your 4 skills, one of which is your ultimate. Now the ultimate is an exceptionally strong ability. It has a long cooldown, sometimes it deals damage, sometimes it incapacitates an enemy, and sometimes it's just geared towards keeping you or your team alive, sort of focusing on short-term survival. It's something you pop in an emergency or when you really want that kill. The gold that you earn is spent on items. Now if you're familiar with Dota, or any of the games of the ilk, you know that is the majority of the game. It's where the main strength of the character build lies. The correct choice of items and balancing the right kind of stats can make all the difference between chasing somebody to the grave or digging your own. As you might expect, there's a really large, huge shopping list of stuff you can buy. In fact, there's so many possible ways you can sort of build your character and balance your stats that there are entire websites, a la World of Warcraft or whatever, just sort of focusing almost entirely on builds and what items you should buy and when. As a new player, it's often quite useful to check out these websites, simply because the big boys know what they're doing. And although it's one of the more accessible Dota clones, it certainly has a learning curve to be aware of. Eventually, if your team doesn't suck too many balls, you'll break the spine of enemy scum's forces and push them back to their base. There are, at the end of each lane, just inside the enemy's strongholds, 3 inhibitors. Destroying these makes your base spawn super creeps, and they'll rampage all the way up to the enemy front door and definitely won't knock. They'll just run in there and kick the shit out of things. They're really strong. In fact, it's not impossible or solid to take one down, but they do take a lot of pounding. They won't kill you, they'll certainly tie you up long enough, and you have to kill them or they'll kill your base. And once you've got their super creeps in their base, it's time to crack out the manic laughter and raise the glasses, because basically won. Not guaranteed, but basically won. Unless everything I just described kind of happened to you, in which case you're very fucking dead and you're a failure, I'm sorry to say. To put it bluntly, the name of the game is to play it cool. You know, be Fonzie. Hey. Don't take stupid risks, don't fucking die, and capitalise on their mistakes while getting away with your own. Boiled down, it's not rocket science, it's just something that can take a little time to sink in with new players, and I was certainly a new player once. Not too long ago in fact, I haven't been playing this game very long. Because I suck pretty hard. Now considering this game is so similar to so many in the genre, I mean it's a very, like I say, it's a very tight-knit kind of copycat sort of frenzy of games. It's probably worth talking about things that do differ, such as the interfaces. Now, once you fire up the launcher, and you've input your password of course, the main game menu is essentially a glorified web browser for League of Legends. There's a news panel detailing the latest special offers and some related sort of news URLs to do with the game, maybe upcoming features, you know, yada yada. And also from here you can administer your account. You can launch a game, you can chat to your friends, you can even check out your profile or enter the shop. I mean, it's pretty standard, you know. The profile tab lets you take care of some of the finer details related to your ass kickage. This is where you apply runes. These are items that you buy with the in-game currency to apply stat boosts to lots of various different abilities. They say if you've got a certain character who benefits a lot from ability power, you might stack ability power runes. If you want faster cast times, you might stack not cast times, faster cooldowns, you might stack cooldown reduction runes. You get the idea, it's pretty standard. As well as runes, there's a talent tree, which is almost exactly like the World of Warcraft talent trees. You've got 3 different schools. You earn points every time your summoner level increases. Summoner level is something that your account carries by. As you play games, you rank up, and you get a kind of, you know, progression going on. Every time you level up, you get a point, and you can spend it in this tree. The game has quite a well-structured free-to-play model, I will say that. If you're not familiar with free-to-play, which I'm hoping you should be, but it's basically the practice of not selling you the game at a price, but including microtransactions within the game, so the devs can earn their money basically. You can use this shop to either spend real world money, or you can spend the sort of freely generating game currency called IP. That's influence points, in case you're wondering. Individual heroes range in price from sort of a few fun hours of farm time up to maybe a month even of hard effort for how much you play, obviously. Often the newest or most interesting heroes come with greater cost, as you'd expect really, but there's over 80, well I think there are exactly 80 at the moment heroes to choose from, and they're all priced into various brackets, and they're all fairly unique and interesting, so you know, whatever price range you're looking at, whether you want to spend real money or just a generated currency, you know, there's something that tickles balls there. There are also more sort of vanity-centric items, such as alternative skins for your favourite characters. Now, these sort of range from just looking cool, like a guy in solid golden armour maybe, or you know, lightning flying out of his asshole, but some of them are completely sort of pure novelty, batshit insanity. They sort of offer a nice level of individuality, you know, for your EPing, but comes at the cost of real, actual cash that you earned and was in your pocket until you spent it. With a large number of heroes to enjoy, it's possible to find a combination of value and entertainment fairly easily. It's worth remembering that in the free-to-play model, if you don't ever buy anything with actual cash, the developer kind of loses out. If it's a game you like, you should probably think about just spending a $5 here and there. By here and there I mean like maybe once, ever, I don't know. But if you like the game, you should support the developers. I'm a firm believer in that, and just spending a small amount of cash does sort of pay your way a little bit. Now in closing, I'd like to say that I did play a bit of Dota years and years ago, and I found it fun, I liked it. I'd recommend it to anyone. And since then I've played a little bit of Demigod, and that up until playing League of Legends has been the limit, the absolute limit of my sort of arts knowledge. I'd say Demigod would be a good introduction to the genre, but I would be lying. It is a damn fun game, but it was also extremely simplistic compared to sort of the frontrunners in the field. It reminded me of sort of a retarded Fisher-Price action RTS, where everything was scaled down and by the numbers, and ultimately quite unsatisfying in that way. If you're relatively new to the scene of action RTS, I don't think you could go far wrong with giving LoL a try. The learning curve was mild, with the bots to experiment on. There are bots, so it's quite a nice little feature. And the web is literally littered with interesting resources to help you out as a new player. It's something that can be enjoyed sort of casually or quite passionately as well. People do take it quite seriously on occasion. I've heard from many different places that Heroes of Newerth, probably, I don't know if it's more popular than LoL or not, I'm not sure, but I've heard it is supposed to be a better game. Now, I can't personally comment on that because I've barely played it. I suspect that both of the games have a lot to offer, even if they are sort of so ridiculously alike. In my research, most of the arguments on the topic seem to boil down to trollathons. People grunt comments about the different graphical styles of each game, why they prefer this or why they hate that, and most of it's not even sort of correct, if you ask me, but eventually someone else calls someone a Hitler, and the spammers move in and try to sell me some sort of cock cream, and well, you know, that's where I stopped reading, to be honest. One comment I will make on Hon is that the community seems far less tolerant of new players. If you still got your old plates on, perhaps you should think about learning somewhere else first. Get familiar with League of Legends, I think you'll like it. You might never leave it, for all I know, but extra points if once you've got your training wheels off you make some fucking troll fag eat them. Right, thanks. This has been Insert Coin doing a rather bizarre, semi-scripted, slightly improvised, probably quite tedious video on League of Legends, and I hope you didn't find it too bad. Thanks, bye.